Do you know who will truly stand by you when you're old and everything changes? It's a question that many people don't ask themselves until it's too late. In our younger years, we gather people, acquaintances, co-workers, neighbors, classmates, and we often assume that many of them will still be around when we need them the most. But time has a way of showing us the truth. As we grow older, the circle inevitably gets smaller, and what matters is no longer how many friends you have, but which ones still show up, listen, and care deeply. In this video, we'll explore the 4 types of friends you can rely on as you get older. These are the friendships that go beyond small talk and surface pleasantries. They are the ones that offer comfort in silence, strength in hardship, and joy on the ordinary days. And perhaps more importantly, we'll also shed light on why some people, despite being familiar, aren't the kind of friends you should rely on when life gets tough. If you've ever wondered who really belongs in your life moving forward, stay tuned. By the end of this video, you might look at your relationships in a whole new light, and you may even be inspired to invest more deeply in the friendships that truly matter. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you do so and turn on the bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Your support helps us continue creating great content to inform and inspire you. Let's begin. 1. A friend who listens without judgment. There's something sacred about being truly listened to, without interruption, correction, or quiet disapproval. Yet, this type of listening is rare, especially in older age when people are quick to assume they know your story or believe they know better. That's why one of the most valuable friends you can have is someone who offers their presence without trying to fix, critique, or steer the conversation. A steady, quiet listener who respects your voice and makes room for your truth. Let me introduce you to Mary, a 77-year-old woman living in Lincoln, Nebraska. Over the years, she'd grown accustomed to polite nods and brief smiles when trying to share something important. Her children would often cut her off mid-sentence, and neighbors would smile but always rush off. It wasn't until she reconnected with an old friend named Clara, someone she hadn't spoken to in over 15 years, that she realized how much she missed being heard. Over coffee, Clara listened with full attention. No phone distractions, no advice, just presence. Afterward, Mary said it was the first time in years that she felt her words actually mattered. The older we get, the more we carry stories, regrets, hopes, and grief. Sometimes, all we need is a witness, someone who will sit across from us, nod with understanding, and allow silence to stretch without discomfort. When you find that kind of friend, one who doesn't rush you, who lets silence stretch without awkwardness, you found something rare. Research in psychology confirms that being truly heard reduces stress, lowers blood pressure, and improves cognitive health. But beyond the science, it just brings peace. When someone listens to you without judgment, they're not only hearing your words, they're saying, "You still matter. Your voice still matters." In a world that moves faster every day, where seniors can feel invisible or spoken over, a friend who listens is like a mirror, reflecting your worth. And here's something just as important. You must be that kind of friend, too. Be the one who listens, who puts down the phone, and who asks follow-up questions. Not just out of politeness, but because you genuinely want to understand. That kind of presence has more power than most people realize. In the quieter years, when the world gets smaller, few things feel more comforting than knowing someone will still sit with you, listen fully, and make space for all the things you need to say. 2. A friend who checks in consistently. There's something quietly powerful about a person who remembers to check in, not just on birthdays, not just when there's news, but in the ordinary rhythm of life. A quick call, a brief message, a visit without an agenda. These small gestures mean the world, especially for older adults, because they can be the difference between feeling remembered and feeling forgotten. Take Henry, a 73-year-old retired engineer from Richmond, Virginia. After retiring and moving to a smaller town, his days became quieter. His neighbors were friendly but distant, and his adult children lived several states away. Most days, he kept busy with hobbies or running errands, but evenings felt long. That's when his old college buddy, Roger, began calling every Wednesday afternoon just to talk. They didn't discuss anything profound, just shared memories, swapped stories, or talked about the local news, but those simple check-ins gave Henry's week a rhythm. What makes a consistent friend so rare is that they don't wait for something to be wrong. They don't only show up when there's drama or crisis, they show up because they care. Regular presence builds trust, something that becomes more precious with age. As we get older, our circles shrink, health can limit mobility, and old routines fade away. That's why friends who initiate contact without being asked stand out. They're the ones who say, "You're still on my mind," without saying it directly. Their connection offers emotional stability, something proven to significantly reduce depression and cognitive decline in older adults. If you don't have a friend like that, you can become one. Set a reminder, choose one day each week, and make it a ritual to call or message someone, just because you know how it feels to be remembered. When someone takes the time to check in, without expecting anything in return, it sends a powerful message: you still matter. I see you, and you're worth my time. 3. A friend who shares values and growth. As we age, we begin to crave more than just casual conversations. We want depth, alignment, and a connection that helps us grow. This is why one of the most rewarding friendships in later years is one that shares values. Not just a similar lifestyle, but a mindset that aligns with your own. Let me introduce you to Charles, an 80-year-old retired librarian from Phoenix, Arizona. Charles had many acquaintances, people he spoke with at the local coffee shop or waved at during his morning walks. But it wasn't until he met Deborah in a weekly book club that he realized something important had been missing. They both shared a love for reading, but more than that, they both enjoyed exploring ideas, having respectful debates, and challenging each other's thinking. Their friendship went beyond surface-level companionship. It nurtured both their minds and spirits. Conversations with Deborah were always thought-provoking, feeding his intellectual curiosity and adding richness to his daily life. This type of friendship isn't about agreeing on everything, but about caring deeply about the same things: kindness, honesty, resilience, or curiosity. These are friendships that help you grow, evolve, and refine your beliefs, even in your 70s and 80s. Studies have shown that seniors who maintain friendships based on mutual respect and shared values report higher life satisfaction and greater emotional resilience. These friendships don't just fill time, they nourish your spirit. If you find someone who makes you think deeply, feel aligned, and brings out your best self, hold on to that connection. Make time for it. Because when you share values, the bond goes beyond nostalgia. It's about nurturing your soul. 4. A friend who shows up in difficult times. There are friends who are fun at gatherings, friends who share hobbies, and friends who always have something interesting to say. But when life takes a turn, when illness strikes, when grief hits, when everything feels heavier than usual, you quickly learn who truly belongs in your inner circle. Take Linda, an 84-year-old widow living in Jacksonville, Florida. She had built a beautiful life with her late husband of 55 years. After his passing, the silence in her home was overwhelming. The funeral cards came, and the funeral service was full, but within a week, the phone calls stopped, and the visits slowed. Most of her friends didn't know how to support her, so they stayed silent. But then there was Megan, a friend from her church, who didn't ask, "Do you need anything?" She simply showed up with tea, sat beside Linda, and didn't try to fix the situation. She was just there, present, with no agenda, no advice, just company. A true friend during difficult times doesn't disappear when things get uncomfortable. They lean in, show up, and stay. They don't rush your grief, nor do they try to solve your problems. Instead, they create space for you to feel your emotions and offer the most valuable gift: presence. This kind of friend doesn't need to have all the answers, they just need to be there. And when you find that kind of friend, you realize how rare they are. As we grow older, the need for such connections deepens, because it's not just about celebrating good times, but about not being alone during the tough ones. When we're young, we often believe that having many friends means we're loved, connected, and successful. But as we age, life gently teaches us a quieter truth. It's not about how many friends you have, it's about which ones truly remain. The friends who listen without judgment, who check in just because, who share your values and growth, and who stand by you when life gets hard. These are the relationships that hold us together when everything else seems to fall apart. Take a moment to think, who are your 4? Who has consistently shown up in your life? Not just when things were easy, but also when they were difficult. And more importantly, who are you being that kind of friend to? Friendship in old age isn't about nostalgia. It's about mutual care, being present, real, and steady. The years ahead can be deeply meaningful, not because of the number of people around you, but because of the strength of a few true connections. So, choose wisely. Once you find your people, hold them close, because the right friendships don't just comfort you, They preserve your dignity, nurture your spirit, and remind you that no matter your age, you are still deeply loved. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating great content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.